channel. I'm going to give you, well, I'm going to ask you something. Have you taken the simulator? I'm not sure if you answered before.
Uh, I haven't taken.
You haven't. Okay. I'm going to show you right now. There is a way that you can practice. Okay, great. So before, I think you were given the instruction to download. I think it was an app or a document. I'm going to show you right now.
I think it's Anki. Um,
No, no, no. It is. I'm going to show you right now. It's to practice it's a simulator for the TOEFL, and basically, if I'm not wrong, before you got the a program that you had to install in your computer, and you had to, and well, some people had some trouble with that, basically. And now you get the opportunity to practice with Magoosh, which is the app that we were using to practice some exercises. So where is it? It's right here. I'm going to send you this link through the chat. You can take look whenever you have time. It's a 2 minute tutorial basically. But summarizing what is being said here, it's that you will get the password from, you can contact maybe Melissa or another person maybe that help you through the course, not the TOEFL preparation. And well, you will get into Magoosh, and they will, in the video will explain how to practice each of the sections. So to see or how you will do, right, in a proper simulation TOEFL test. Okay, so you can take a look whenever you have time, and the only thing you need is the password and the email, the username, and that will be given to you by Melissa or maybe another person that is being talking to you through the program. Okay, great. So today with you guys we're going to practice the first class of speaking, right? Okay, you haven't seen anything related to speaking. Great. So, another. Okay, well, let's give one more minute to someone else maybe join the class. But while I'm here, did you download the Anki app?
I haven't, teacher, but I
Okay,
will download.
okay. Whenever you have the opportunity to do it, it will be very helpful, especially for the listening part, because it helps you to practice a little bit more and the listening, especially with some proper words or connectors, conjunctions, etc. And also, if you want to take a look again to these videos, if you haven't yet, it's going to also help you a lot. Because basically, in the speaking part and the writing, what is giving you the most score is going to be these connectors. And these are very, very helpful, and it's going to, mm, well, it's going to give you some tools to try to put your ideas in a better, a more proper way. Okay, so we have Jerry here. He already mentioned that he won't be able to turn his camera on, but which is fine. Okay, so we're going to start with the class, and we're going to start here. Okay, so basically here what we have is the how it's organized, the speaking, right? So the structure is going to be basically two different type of questions, and I'm not sure if we have practice with you, Christian. I think you haven't answered my text, maybe. I don't know. I sent text to everyone asking what time will be good to practice through the personal calls, right? I'm not sure. If I missed the message, please let me know. But basically, here with some other students, we've been practicing this already. And basically, for the speaking, we have the four different type of questions, which in the test are going to be called task. So we're going to get tasks number 1, number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so to understand this better, we're going to just call it question. Okay, so question number 1 is going to be a open question, which is basically going to ask you about your opinion, and it's going to be about any familiar topic related with something that is happening nowadays, maybe related with COVID, etc. Okay. Question 2, 3, and 4 are called integrated. The first one is called independent because it's basically just an open question and they're asking you your opinion, right? Because it doesn't depend on anything else. However, question 2 and 3 and 4 are integrated because are going to be related with some passages and lectures or conversations. So we kind of have to find out some information in the passage, also in the conversation or lecture. Okay, so with that being said, this is how it's organized, this task or questions. So basically, for question number 1, well, I'm going to say it again, but in the independent question, we have 15 seconds to prepare our answer and time to answer it is 45 seconds. Question number 2 and 3 are, we have the same time. We have 30 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds, sorry, to answer. And in the question number 4, we have 20 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to answer. So question 2 and 3 are very similar because basically we get a passage and a lecture or conversation and we find some information and then we answer through based on that. In question number 4, however, we get just an audio. So basically the whole answer is based on that audio, which is going to be related with an academic topic and is going to be a lecture. Okay? So we're going to continue and we're going to see how, well, an example of it is key, task number 1. So it's going to look something like this. Maybe Christian, can you help me reading the question, please?
Question type. Task 1. You will now be asked to give your opinion about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Okay, great. So it's always going to be something like this. You're going to get a no. You're going to be asked about your opinion, and basically then you have just 15 seconds to prepare. So basically here for this type of question, you don't have to think too much to answer. You have to be very quick and also try to speak in a coherent way and in the given time and be very concrete with what you're answering. So can you read the question, please, Christian?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you.
Question 1. Explain whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Countries should no longer be allowed to sell sugary drinks such as Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Then give an specific details in your argument.
Okay, great. So after you listen or you read the question, you just have 50 seconds to prepare, and then you have 45 seconds to answer. So we're going to do that exercise, okay? So I'm going to share my whole screen so you can see also a timer. And we're going to try to answer this question. I'm going to share the timer. 1 second. Hi, Marita, welcome. Okay, I think that should be it. Hi, Andrea, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so I'm going to share my whole screen so we can see everything. So What we're doing, guys, here is practicing question number one. It doesn't matter if you remember or know how to do it. We're just going to do it from scratch, okay? From zero. So this is the question. Maybe Andrea can help you reading, can help us reading the question again. And then we're after Andrea finish reading the question, we're going to get 15 seconds to prepare our answer. Okay, and then
Okay.
each of us is going to answer in 45 seconds. Okay, so Andrea, please, you can read.
Question one, explain whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Countries should no longer be allowed to sell sugary drinks such as Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Then give specific details in your argument.
Okay, great. So now I'm going to run the timer, 15 seconds, so you can try to answer the question. And let's start now. Okay, great. Now time's up. And we're going to start with Andrea, okay? Then Christian, and finally Marita. And whenever you're ready, you start. Whenever you start talking, I'm gonna start the timer, okay? So,
Well, I agree with the statement because the sugar or the content ingredients that Coca-Cola or Pepsi have, it's so unhealthy. Uh, but I think it's a subject of each person to choose take it the or drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi, but it's you can't be a consent for that warnings. So that
okay, that's good. Very good. Thank you. Now let's go with Christian. Same question, 45 seconds.
Okay, I disagree with this statement. Uh, I feel this way for these two reasons. The first reason, I think each one of us should determine the things that we consume or not and take care of ourselves. And if we're sick, do not consume things that will make bad our organism. And I disagree the second reason because it would take a lot of employments and a lot of people that work in these companies and all the money that these big companies move will be lost. So I disagree with this.
Thank you very much. Very good. And now let's go with Marita. And well, while Marita is answering, Camila, can you read the question and well, answer right after Marita? Okay, just read the question and try to answer. Okay.
Okay. I disagree with the idea that sugary drinks should be shouldn't be allowed anymore. I think it's better to warn people about the content of this product, about the sugar content, or perhaps they should have higher taxes, which would increase its price, and maybe people will hesitate on buying them. I think it's a great idea to let people choose what they want to drink or consume.
Okay, great. We had a little bit more time left, but it's fine. Now let's continue. And finally with Camila. Have you read the question already? Okay, great. Now, whenever you start talking, I'll run the
Yes.
timer.
Okay, I completely disagree with this idea because I think that the main idea of this is because countries try to avoid or try to have less people with diabetes or that kind of illnesses or yeah illnesses in their countries. That's why they're trying to stop buying selling drinks with too much sugar. I think that they could try to prevent, maybe inform people what sugar can do to your body. Also they can try to find some way to, I don't know, sell drinks with less sugar. There are a lot of things that could replace Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but I'm disagreeing with this idea.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good, Camila. Thank you, guys, everyone. Great answers. Now, some of you have already practiced this question with me, so you have a better idea how to answer it, which is Marita especially. So this is an open question or independent question, as I mentioned before. And basically, to answer this type of question, we have a little speech here to follow, and which is going to help us to put our ideas in order in a way that is going to sound organized for the person that is going to be evaluating our answers. So the tip here to answer is basically in the 15 seconds that we have to prepare, basically try to find or choose between one of the two positions that are being given in the question. Okay, so very briefly here we can basically just write, well, I agree or I disagree with the idea, right? And then try to find agree or maybe disagree, either one. And then try to find two reasons why you're agreeing or disagreeing with this idea. So reason one, which will be anything, right, with other answers, and reason two. So in these 15 seconds, what we're basically doing is we're choosing the ideas that we're going to um, to explain later in our response, right? So in these 15 seconds, we have to be very quick to think about reasons or good reasons, which these reasons can come from our experience, can come from something that you heard on the news, or something that had even happened to some relate or a friend. So in that way, it's going to be easier for you guys to give good reasons and also find some details here, because in our response we have to give either a detail or an example, right? So I'm going to show you this more explained here, and I'm going to try to stay here. Okay. So this is the speech. Some of you have already seen it. It's fine. So basically here we start with one of these three options. So we can start either with any of these positions. I agree with the idea or I disagree with the idea, and then we briefly mention, and then we can maybe try to put it in a complete way, right? With some words that help us. And then we go to the transition. In the transition, which is optional, is going to give, while the person that is going to evaluate your answer is going to sound more organized if you say the transition. So if you have time, say it. Okay, so you can use either this transition or something similar to this. If you pay attention, all of these are talking about you, right? So you can say, in my opinion, or I believe, right? Or I think, which is a little bit more common. So then we jump to the transition. I feel this way for two reasons, and then if you remember, in the 15 seconds, we basically choose, if you're agreeing or disagreeing, or maybe are going to ask us between two positions to defend. And then in the reasons, well, we basically just mentioned here, we can say firstly, or to start to, some connector that is going to explain that we're starting with a first idea and then we're going to continue to a second idea. And then here we can give an example, a short example. Try to don't stay here too much because it could take too much time. So we have to be very concrete here. And the second reason, we can go with secondly or any connector, which is that sound similar, right? To put different ideas together or maybe in order, or to start to continue, you know. And then we can give a detail and use a connector that sounds something like to be more specific. And then we give one or two details about this second reason. Okay, this little speech is going to help us to put our ideas in a logic way. So whenever is whenever whatever is our answer, the evaluator is going to understand us very good. Okay, so I'm going to send the document. I think, I'm not sure, maybe Christian and Andre, I don't think you have the document with all the speeches for all the questions. So I'm going to send it right now through the chat. If you don't get it, you let me know where I can send it to you. But for now, I'm going to send it through the chat. Okay, so I'm sending it right now. So hopefully you got it. So what you're going to get there is this. It is this. Okay, so here you're going to get all the speeches for all the questions. As I mentioned before, they're called tasks. That's how it's going to be called in the test. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is this? It's a way to help us to put our ideas in order. And if you pay attention, all of them are going to be giving the seconds that you should give to each of these parts. For the main point will be 8 seconds. For the first reason, 18 seconds. And first and second reason, 18 seconds. Okay, and it's going to be the same logic for the rest, but in this case, it's considering the timer. So you start with 60 seconds. When you get around 36 seconds, you should jump to the next idea, and you finish with 18 seconds, basically. Okay, the rest are the same, so it's easier for you while you're answering to keep the time, no? So you have enough time, and you don't you're not wasting time, or you're not talking over the time is over. Okay, so the advice here, guys, is to try to use this while we practice. So if you want to start taking notes here, you can do it. So in a way to keep all organized. In the case that you don't want to use it here and you want to use your paper or a piece of paper, it's also good. It works. The only thing, remember, in the TOEFL, you're going to be getting some paper, right? White paper, and whenever you get a paper, you should remember what of the connectors are to each task. So basically, when you get the piece of paper, now depending of the task that you are getting, try to write some of the connectors. So you, whenever you're taking notes, you just complete the connectors, and it's easier for you. You are going to get already the answer here, right? And it's easier to put your ideas and don't waste too much time. Okay, and also you can also always take a look to your paper. And the same advice for the rest of the task or questions. Okay, try to memorize the connectors, or if you remember, you can replace it with any other connector. If you need to learn more connectors, I'm going to invite you to take a look to executiveenglisheducation.com. And basically you go to Apoyo Académico, number 3, and then you will get Anki in the tutorials. In case that you haven't downloaded Anki yet, you just click on here and then it's going to show you how to install it, how to use it, and everything. And the connectors, it's highly recommended for you guys to watch the videos because it's going to give you a lot of tools to put your or to answer basically for the right the sorry the listening and the writing, sorry, the speaking and the writing. Okay, and also if you find some connectors that you don't know, you can always go to Google and put the meaning of the connector. For example, does, I don't know what means does. So I go to Google and I write does. Do not ever translate the word. It's better to find the definition of the word instead of just translating the word. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go back and we're going to practice a little bit more. So now you can open the document that I just sent through the chat of Zoom. And we're going to practice again, but this time we're going to try to follow our little speech. So you guys can open the document on your computers and we can try to work on that if you want to, or on a piece of paper, that's good. Okay, so before we do that, I want you to help me to just try to make a point why connectors are that important. And let's see here. Okay, can anyone give me an example, a question, no, sorry, a sentence using the word because? Any sentence.
I'm taking these TOEFL classes because I want to apply it in a USA, a university in USA.
Okay. I'm taking these TOEFL classes because I'm gonna paraphrase. Okay, I want to apply to a USA college. Okay, so when we get because, when we get to see or read because, it doesn't sound very proper. It sounds common. So anytime that you get because, you can replace it with any other connector. And a great way to replace it, it's simply comma, sorry, comma 4. This comma space 4 means basically the same. Means because, but it sounds way more academic, more proper, more. It's going to make you sound, guys, that your vocabulary is great, that you are basically uh, very good at English, that you know word, you have a great knowledge in English words. Okay, so can anyone else give me an example of a sentence using the word although? Although. Do you know what means although?
And I wanted to eat dessert, although I was full.
I want, sorry.
I wanted to eat dessert or have dessert, although I was full.
Although I was full?
Yeah, lleno, full,
Yes.
or
Yeah, it sounds good. Okay, great. So it's cool. I want to eat a dessert, although I was full. Okay. This although it's basically like aunque, ¿no es cierto? Basically. But instead of saying although, we can use the word albeit. this word is going to sound way more proper. It's not very common. I'm sure you haven't, or if you have read it, you haven't maybe identify exactly what it meant. It's Albert. But it's a great choice to replace a common word or a common connector such as although with albeit. Okay. To and finally, can anyone else give me an example of a sentence using the word but? What do you think? But maybe Christian.
Mm, I wanted to play soccer, but I hurt my feet.
Great. So this connector is very common. Instead of using that, we can say something like in spite of this. Sounds way better, but it's too common. So we should always try to find ways to use connectors because they're going to give us more time while we're speaking or while we're writing. Okay, that's why I keep recommending to you guys to go and check those videos, those connector videos, because they're going to give you great ideas to use this. Also, another word that is very common and is also connector is and. No, so and is too common. It and but for because are opportunities for you guys to use any connector that is going to help you to improve your score. So do not say because and but for etc. Use any other connector. Okay. Okay. So after that, now we're going to practice. And now, if you can, guys, open your document. We're going to follow the speech. Okay. So please have this open, and you can start taking notes on that if you want to, right? And I'm going to give you the question. So we're going to try to practice this with not too much preparation. Let's see how you do, guys. And we're going to work with this question. Okay, so in each of us is going to answer. Um, okay, great. So we're going to work with this question. Maybe Camila can help us reading the question, please.
Sure. Explain whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Children should not be allowed to play video games. They give specific details in your argument.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to take the time. I'm going to show you. And now let's get ready. Okay, 15 seconds to prepare your answers. Remember, try to find if you're agreeing or disagreeing. And then reason one and reason two. Okay, in those 15 seconds. So let's go now. Okay, time's up. Who wants to start? Remember, you have response time 45 seconds. Okay, guys, what do you see? What do you think? Okay, you're not giving, you're not doing. I eye contact. Who wants to start?
I could go first.
Okay, thank you, Camila. Now we're gonna take the time. And remember, try to use, we're going to move the question, okay? Here, so you can see it. Oh my God. I don't think you can see it very good though. Okay, sorry. I want you guys to be able to see it. Okay, that I think that should work. Okay, let's start now.
I disagree with the idea of not allowing children to play video games. I feel this way for two reasons. For video games, help them to concentrate a little bit for their homework and relax and play a little bit. Also, there are a lot of studies that say that if children play, I don't know, 1 hour or maybe less, they could relax. Firstly, the children's made do a lot of homework because of school. That's why they need a little bit of time to play and maybe relax. And secondly, the study says that if children play a little bit of time video games, they could develop their brains and also reflex.
Oops, sorry. Great, excellent. You did great. The only thing that I will say to you is try to don't use maybe because it makes you sound that you're doubting a little bit. And also try to also don't use I don't know. No, it makes you sound that you're not very sure about what you're saying. Okay, so great. Who wants to go next? Okay, what about Christian?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I disagree with this statement due to the fact that everyone, even child, need some hobbies and need some distraction for their stress. So video games are a great way to think of to take your mind out the problems, and also because it depends on the video games, it could help children to develop some cognitive skills like memory, like reasoning, problem solving, because a lot of games have great history and have great capacity to make children to think about solutions.
Okay, very good. You did great. The only thing it wasn't very clear which were your two reasons. I think I just got one. Um, and for your evaluator, it's going to be easier to understand your reasons if you use words like this: firstly, or to start, to continue, or in the one hand, on the other hand. You know, it's going to help them understand very clearly your two reasons. And the examples that or details that you gave, they were very good. Okay, thank you very much. Great job, Christian. Now, what about Andrea? You're ready?
Okay. I agree that children should not be allowed to play video games. Firstly, children spend a lot of time using technological devices. As a matter of fact, they could spend that time doing more productive things like doing their homework or playing sports. And secondly, research confirms that spending a lot of time watching a screen that much eight ace the eight side. So when they grow up, they could have a lot of problems with their eight side.
Excellent. Very good, Andrea. Great. To mention no, research or something that can uh, comply or complete your idea, it's a great It's a great way to sound like that you know what that you're talking about the topic. So that's great, guys. Thank you very much. And finally, Marita.
I disagree with the idea that children shouldn't be allowed to play video games. I feel this way for two reasons. First, studies have proven that they develop a vast number of skills, such as creativity, memory, motor skills, or even they can learn new languages. And second, I think that they should be able to choose the ways, their ways of entertainment and hobbies, as long as it doesn't affect negatively their health, grades, and social life.
Excellent. You did very good, Marita. Great job. Um, the time that you used it was very good. It was very good organized and everything. The only thing that I will say, if you're not very sure about how to pronounce some words, try to don't repeat it again. So just say if you're not very sure, it's fine, because maybe they won't even realize that you're not saying it correctly. But if you repeat it, it gives more attention to the word. Okay, but you did great, guys. It was very good. So what we're going to do now is practice a little bit more with a couple of questions more. And this time, try to keep on mind the times. Okay, so we can follow the speech. Okay, so basically to mention the main point, we should take no more than 8 seconds. Okay, in this also to don't talk too much or don't or talk less than 45 seconds. Okay, so let's try to keep that in 8 seconds approximately. Then transition is optional, but if you want to say this or any other transition word, etc., or sentence, you can use it. And then the first reason and their example is around 18 seconds. And the second reason, or in their detail, which is we can exchange this basically, right? It should be also around 18 seconds. Okay, so let's practice with another question. Let's see over here. Okay, what do you think? Maybe Marita, can you read the question, please?
People older than 65 years of age should not be allowed to drive. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Make sure that you give the specific reasons, supporting details to your argument.
Voy al baño. ¿Ya has comido algo?
He comido un poquito de...
Okay. Oops. Now we're going to do it. Remember, the first 15 seconds. Well, the first 15 seconds to prepare our answer. We get ready, right? Okay, so let's start getting ready. 15 seconds. Okay, great. So now who wants to start? I think this question is very interesting. Okay, guys, who wants to start? What about Andrea? Okay. this time, try to keep in mind the time. Okay, so let's give the first part in 8 seconds, and you can take a look to the timer while we do it. Okay, so
Okay.
whenever you're ready, you start talking. Sorry, I'm going to run the time.
Okay. I agree that people over 65 should not drive for this reason. Firstly, certain physical and mental change can make it more difficult for older adults to drive safely. And secondly, the ability to move, it's very minimal as are they flexes, and the capacity to react to many dangerous things.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I will complete the idea with something like it increases or it lowers their reaction time, movement, or something like that. But it was good. It was great. Great reasons. Thank you very much. Maybe I will try to, tal vez trataré un poquito de maquillar un poquito la idea, ¿no? Agregar algunas palabritas para que suene más completo, pero después estaba bastante bien. Pero tratemos de llegar a los 45 minutos. ¿Ya? Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, seconds. Now let's go with, what about Marita, if you're ready? Okay.
I disagree with the idea that people older than 65 years should not be allowed to drive. I feel this way for two reasons. Firstly, I think they aren't old enough to be taken out of society. Perhaps they should, the government should take tests on them to prove their sensorial capacity. And second, I think they are still independent, and we as a society shouldn't make them dependent of other people.
It's good. Great. Thank you very much, Marita. You did great. Also, great reasons. Um, Remember, in this type of question, the only thing I will change is that we can say I think in other ways too. No, instead, it's good that we say I think because they're obviously asking for our opinion. But I can also say I believe, in my opinion, right? So we don't repeat the same word, right? If once I say I think, the next time I can say my opinion or I believe, right? So that will be my only advice. Okay, thank you very much. Now, you're welcome. Let's jump to Christian, please. You can help us answering this question.
Uh, well, I advocate with the idea that people over 65 years should not drive due to the fact that, firstly, when you're old, the atrophies of the cortical frontal brain slow your reflexes, so people older cannot reflect as younger people, and also they have visual problems like presbyopia that comes along with the age, so they are also do not see well in the distance, so it's really dangerous for themselves and for other people that they drive.
Great, very good. Oh, very, very good. You use a lot of connectors, which is going to give you a lot of extra scores. So that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Good job, Christian. Now let's jump to, if I'm not wrong, Camila, haven't answered yet.
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, great. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I think it is a great idea to not allow people older than 60 years to drive. I feel this way for two reasons. They could get hurt and also they could hurt someone. First, they people older people have problems with their eyes. They have visual problems. Also, their reflexes, they are not like they used to be. For example, if they are in a crash, they could not see something in the road and crash. They could get hurt, and even though they could get killed. Second, as I already said, if they are in an accident in a road, they could not. They could also hurt someone that is passing there, and on. I disagree with this idea to protect the people.
Okay, very good. Thank you. It was very good. It was interesting. You also you had some extra time to mention again that you're not agreeing with this idea. But that's not really necessary at the end. But you did great. I think it was I understood excellent your reasons, and it was good. Okay, thank you, Camila. I think everyone already has answered. Jerry is missing. Okay, so what do you think, guys? Do you think this type of question it's hard or it's been easy so far? What do you think?
I think that is easier than the other ones because we don't have to listen to something, write a lot of details, and organize our ideas. It's like we just have to think, and everything is gonna come of our minds. Like we don't have to listen to anything.
Exactly, I agree with you. But these questions that I was giving you were especially easy. So what if we get another that it's a little bit harder, maybe to try to find some reasons? Let's see. Okay, what about this? And with this one, we will finish, okay? So let's do this a little bit quicker. We're going to follow the times more strictly, okay? So I'm going to read the question. After I finish, I'm going to run the timer for 15 seconds, and then we're going to choose a couple of people depending on the time and answer, okay? So I'm going to read. Okay, explain whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Politicians should only be allowed to serve one term of 2 to 4 years. Then give specific details in your argument. Okay, 15 seconds, preparation time.
Sorry, if it's okay to just say I don't know one reason and explain the very detailedly, or we always have to give two reasons.
It is better to give two reasons because it will give a bigger picture of what your beliefs are towards this topic. And also remember to give some details of each reason or an example. Okay, let's start again. Okay, time's up. So who wants to go first? This one is not as easy, right? It's going to make us think a bit more. So maybe we can do a couple of people. I think it's 7:54 already.
I could do it.
Okay, thank you, Camila. Let's go.
Okay. I think that it's a great idea to know a politician to serve one term of, well, more than 2 or 4 years. I feel this way for two reasons because a lot of power well, leads to corruption. And also it's important to give space to other people that have great idea. First, a lot of power could corrupt people if someone, even though he or she is a great person and has a big heart. Where, for example, we can take the example of Bolivia. Right now, there are a lot of corruption because our president was like 10 years. Secondly, there we have to give space to other young people to give their ideas to save the country or maybe improve the country.
Great, very good. The only thing I think the first reason was a little bit it was too long, so that's why you have you didn't have enough time to finish your second reason, but it was great. It was good. Now I understand why you wanted to know if you could give just one good reason, but it's great. Okay, now who wants to go next?
I
Okay,
could
great.
try.
Okay, great.
So I disagree with I agree with the statement that the politicians should only serve for a term for 2 to 4 years, because a lot of times makes people corrupt, and even if they are great at the start, they will end badly, like we see in our country. And also, mainly the second thing I think is that politicians should make a long-term plans for countries, and make their projects for other generations to continue, and to improve the education, the health of the people. But it should be like continuous with other generations.
Great. Thank you very much. Very good. I think you make your two reasons very clear. The only thing, remember, we can, when we mention different things, we can say just the once, and then we mention the next things. I don't know. I don't know. I cannot think about something right now. But it's not necessarily to say I don't know, the chair, the table, you can just mention each of them. What else? No, I think that's my only advice. But you did great. Thank you very much, Christian. Oh, maybe you can be a little bit more specific. If you want to talk about our country, try to mention, no, and try to mention what country you are talking about, because we don't necessarily know where the evaluator from. I think that's all. Okay, thank you. Now let's jump to Andrea or Marita.
Okay. I agree with the idea that politicians should serve 2 to 4 years for this reason. Firstly, that they can complete their projects that they have presented at the beginning of their elections. Secondly, that people can get to know them in more depth, so that the person can know all the problems that arise in their country. An example, it could be from Chile, like se me olvidó el nombre, but the one person don't finish their project because they have no time.
Okay, it's good. I think you got a little bit, you got scared a little bit because you had 15 seconds left, right? But yeah, it's fine. Sometimes that happens. That's why we should try to follow, even just in our mind while we do it. This one should be a bit very brief, 18 seconds and eight, sorry, and then try to follow each reason for around 18 seconds. I think the first one was a bit short, and then for the second one, sorry, for the second one, yeah, you say it too fast, so that's why you got these 15 seconds left. But you did great. You did. I understand perfectly. You saw the connectors, but um, we can always try to use more words to sound like that complete ideas. Okay. Now let's finish with Marita, and then that will be it for today.
Okay. I disagree with the idea that politicians should only be allowed to serve one term of 2 to 4 years. I feel this way for two reasons. Firstly, most politicians need the time to fulfill the objectives of their project, and it is not good to change in short time the leader of this project. And the second reason is that some of these politicians make a good job and they should be allowed to keep doing it, such as it happens in the serving time that the US president uh, is elected and be selected.
Very good. You did great. I couldn't hear a little very good at the end, but it was great. I think the more we do it, the better we get, right? Just always remember, if you forget how to continue, try to use any connector, and that's going to give you the points that you need. Okay, so that will be it for today, guys. Next class, we're going to practice the same question, but this time I want to see how you write. Okay, we're going to use the template that I sent, and we're going to try to take notes on that. So please, if you can use your computer, will be great, because we're going to share our screens on Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to start a poll. I'm going to launch a poll, and if you can answer, please, that will be great. So we have 2, 3. I think 2 people is missing. 2, 4, 2, 4, 5. Okay, great. So that will be it for today, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And I will
teacher.
see you
Bye.
later. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.